Good evening and welcome to our Financial Empowerment Seminar with our featured topic of budgeting. My name is Jane Thoma and I'm the Vice President of Volunteer Engagement at the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. A special thank you to our sponsors of this evening's event, CIBM Bank and La Casa de Esperanza. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin our program. Please note that your microphone and camera have been turned off. We really welcome questions from all of you, so utilize the questions panel throughout tonight's program. We really want to hear from you, and we've got great expertise to answer your questions. And also note that today's presentation is being recorded. Now it's my pleasure to introduce two special guests that are with us this evening. Joanne Blazing is Executive Vice President of Community Development and Enterprise Projects at CIBM Bank. Joanne has experience motivating teams and is a committed community leader. Joanne is a board officer for Variety, the children's charity of Wisconsin, and a contributor and volunteer to Children's Hospital Foundation, Kathy's House, United Way, and many other organizations. She is an advocate of financial literacy, as evidenced by her creativity in developing this event more than 4 years ago in partnership with United Way and La Casa de Esperanza. Also, we're excited to have Crystal Monsivais, who's been with La Casa since 2008. She has run their free VITA tax program for 13 years and is their lead financial stability and housing counselor. She also hosts and presents the financial and homebuyer education programs at La Casa. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Joanne.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations on starting the new year with financial fitness. You're probably doing a lot of other fitness type things, so this absolutely is right for the new year. I applaud your efforts. Very, very excited with the group of individuals able to join us tonight. CIBM Bank and all of us, everyone on our team, is so proud to be sponsoring this event once again. As Jane mentioned, it started 4 years ago. We're in a different venue tonight, online versus together in a building, but certainly the information and the quality and the details you'll be receiving and ideas are absolutely of that same high level. Excuse me. At CIBM Bank, our foundation is really service, solutions, integrity. And we try to help. Our branding is we just help the individuals, businesses, and financial awareness. Financial fitness is so very much a part of that to help people get their footings to launch them through a year or through a lifetime. So once again, I applaud that you have taken the time out of your life to be here today. Pay it forward. Share this information with friends, go visit the wonderful team at La Casa. And again, we are so proud to be able to be with you and help you through this event. Now, for really the meat of the program, with practical ideas, experience, enthusiasm, and knowledge, Crystal is going to take it away. Have a great night, and thank you again for spending time doing this for you. Take care.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Monsivais. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm excited to be here to discuss some of the items that we can look forward to when it comes to budgeting. Next slide, please. I'd like to start by posing a poll question for all of you. So if you could please answer this. I always, sometimes, or never use a budget. It's a good way for us, and we'll give a couple moments for you to answer, to be able to assess how many people actually use budgets. I work with a lot of different clients who sometimes feel that, you know, they have a certain way to assess where their money is coming and how they pay it out, but they don't actually have a budget that they work with. And some people who use one regularly. So it's a good idea for us to just see where you're at. We'll give about 5 more seconds. All right, here we go. So all of you said that you sometimes use a budget, which is pretty typical. So great, thank you so much for answering. All right, so I am going to go ahead and pull up our presentation here. So give me one moment. All right, so today we are going to go over how to plan a budget, ways to spend responsibly, how to cut back on spending, options when your expenses exceed your income, why it's important to save, and some different ways that you can save. You should have received an email that included a handout for budgeting and spending, along with a copy of today's presentation. It is also a handout on our webinar today, so you should see it, a little tab that shows both of those documents if you didn't get it in the email. If you do have any problems, just let us know. You'll see my contact information and we'll make sure that we get everything to you. So I'd like to start by talking about setting goals. One of the things that I always go over when I work with my clients is having goals specific to what you want to do. So they can be small goals, large goals, they could be short-term or long-term, but it's really important that you understand that they should be realistic and specific, and I'm all about setting a time frame. Having a timeline helps you reach those goals. So many people that I work with always say, oh, I want to save for a car, or I want to save to purchase a home, or just to have those emergency expenses, but they never set timelines for themselves. And then they find that they never reach their goals. Well, timelines are really huge and they help us be accountable and start making those steps towards reaching those goals. Goals should identify actions to be taken. So what am I going to do to reach this goal? If I set my timeline, what steps can I take to actually put this into action? And they should be measurable so that progress can be tracked. So make sure that we're not being, outside of what we can handle. Let's make sure that the goals that we're setting are attainable and that we can reach them. So here's an example of a goal. So the example is, I want to save money to celebrate my son's birthday in February. Now, depending on when this was set, I need $300 for my son's birthday party in February. That means that I would need to set $25 a week, and this is by using my timeline. I would use direct deposit into a separate savings account. So now I've created something specific and now I know how I need to reach this goal. So $25 by 12 weeks, depending on when this timeline was set, would equal my $300. So now I have my goal, I have how I'm going to reach my goal, and I have my timeline to make sure that my goal is set and finalized by that time my son's birthday comes. So small steps like this can help you reach your goals and make you feel responsible and empower of your money. So we're going to do another poll question. I always, sometimes, or never track my spending. So if you can just answer that question. And no, there is no wrong answer. Just know that. This is just for you to get a general idea of what you're doing, so that if you choose to work with us, this is something that we can work on or improve. So we'll just give a couple more seconds. And we can go ahead and share those poll results.
We have 60% said that they sometimes track their spending and 40% say they never do.
Okay, and you know that, thank you so much, Sierra. That is very typical. There's a lot of people who don't do tracking of their spending because they feel like it can get complicated or it's a lot of work. So that does make a lot of sense. Thank you so much for answering those. So tracking your spending. It helps you be in control of your money. And that's what we want, because a lot of times people live getting their paychecks and they feel out of control. I don't know what I spent my money on or where it went. Well, by tracking it, it helps you stay on top of that. And tracking doesn't mean that you have to track all the time, every day. It means that every once in a while, you hold yourself accountable, you review your account statements, be it bank accounts or credit card statements, and you view what you've been spending. How is your money coming in and how is it going back out? This is going to help you stay on top of things and actually realize what kind of spending you're having. And like I said, sometimes a counselor may ask you to track for a month. Sometimes I usually ask people to start by doing about a week or two. Track a week or two. And and the great thing to know is that we have bank statements. So the bank does it for us. We have credit card statements. Those credit card companies do it for us. All we have to do is print those out and review them. The only thing that you would be responsible for is if you're using cash. So it's not as complicated as many people may think. And it's something that you can do with a counselor like myself, where we can help you review it. Many of the people that I've worked with, once I say go ahead and track that information, they come back to me at our next appointment and say, I know where my money's going and I figured it out and I want to make some changes. And they already have ideas spinning in their mind. So it's a really great way to just get in that driver's seat and take control. So there are some different ways to track your spending. And there is no right or wrong way. It depends on what works for you. And do know that it can change as your life moves forward. Budgets and tracking are meant to change as life changes. So don't be hard on yourself. Understand that, you know, things are going to change and it may have worked for you one time and now things are different and you're going to change it up a little bit, and that is okay. So one thing you could do is write it down on paper. Another thing you could do is track it on your cell phone. There's a lot of different apps that you can use, have a calendar, or even just use your computer. So I personally use a notebook at home where I write down all of my information, and I use a spreadsheet where I track everything and it calculates it for me. But there are apps that you can go online and use on your phone. One of the handouts that we gave you for tonight is a budget worksheet where you can go down and write some information. Some of the clients that I work with, I have a calendar, a blank calendar that I can give to you where you actually put what bills are due in each of the days of the month. And it actually calculates everything for you and says, you know, for this month or this pay period, you are going to be negative, or you have this much left over after paying your bills. So a lot of good different ways, and you'll find what works for you. Do we have any questions yet?
No, we do not. But we do have one about what should I prioritize in my budget?
Okay, so prioritizing, that's huge, and I'm glad that you asked. One of the things that I always say is make sure that your living expenses take priority over everything. So we want to make sure that our bills are paid on time. So pay that rent, pay your electric or utility bills, make sure you have the money set aside for your groceries and for gas or transportation to get to and from wherever you need to. Those are going to take precedence over everything. Once you can handle those monthly bills, then you can go ahead and start including into your budget some other goals that you may have. Any other questions?
Great. And then what apps are good for tracking my expenses and spending?
Okay, so like I just said, there are so many different apps, and what I can tell you is that if you work with me, I can give you some different ideas. If you send me an email, I can give you different ideas on what works for you. There are so many different apps, and so we just need to find what would be most beneficial for your personal situation. But like I said, apps, spreadsheets, worksheets, all different things. So I can definitely help provide some of that information. Thank you. Okay, so let's move forward. Determining your monthly income. So determining your monthly income is about adding all of the money that comes into you. So it could be anything from employment, where you earn a paycheck, interest, dividends, Social Security, tips that you get from a job. It could even be child support if it is regular income. So if you only get it every once in a while and it's kind of scattered for child support, I wouldn't necessarily consider that part of my income. But if it is something that's regular over at least a year to 2 years, then we know it's consistent and that you can include it into your income. So that's something that you have to assess and make sure of when reviewing this. And it's going to depend what you are calculating your income for. So if it's just for your budget, that's something, you know, personal, and it can be more flexible. But if it's getting into where you're applying for a loan or credit, then they'll have some more concrete information that they want. As I said, some of the income sources: employment, Social Security or disability, tips or commission. If you have a second job, whether it's cash or paycheck, you should consider it. Alimony, child support. When it comes to overtime, only if overtime is consistent can you consider it. So if you get overtime on a regular basis or during certain times of the year consistently, then yes, you can consider that. And there are different ways to calculate that. If it is something that's sporadic, then you're not going to want to include that. And you can include that overtime money that you get as an additional income for those expenses that you may have, like entertainment and things like that. So, determining monthly expenses. So, what you want to do when determining your monthly expenses is add together all of the expenses, so all the bills that you get in. That could be rent, it could be utilities, transportation if you drive or use like public transportation that's consistent, then that's going to be part of your expenses. Entertainment, clothes, food, personal items. If you put money into savings, and any miscellaneous spending you want to account for. When it comes to food, if you do receive food share, then that is something you're not going to consider because it's not coming out of your monthly income. So you can jot it down, but don't consider it when you're taking away from your income. And then be patient, because it can take a few months to document everything. Sometimes we have new expenses or different things that we only pay every so often, and so we may forget about those if we don't have a budget already. So just know that as you move forward on your budget, you'll come up with some new things to put on, or new expenses may be coming in and you're going to add those to your budget. Remember, like I said, budgets are made to be adjusted, so have patience with yourself. It can get a little bit frustrating, but as long as you check on that budget every once in a while, you should be able to stay on track. So here's an example of things that we would jot down for our budget. So when it comes to income, let's say the monthly work salary is $1,000, tips about $250, Social Security benefits $400, and other job income would be $50. That gives us a total income of $1,700. Now our expenses: housing or transportation $750, utility bills $300, food $150, clothing $100, entertainment $50, and then savings $100. That would give me expenses of $1,450. So in this, you'll see that my expenses are less than my income, which is good. So that leaves me in a good space. Now, do know that it can end up the opposite way, or you can come dead even. Those are the times that we would think about making some adjustments. Something could be like getting on a budget for your utilities, food planning, food preparation. If you plan out your meals, you seem to spend a little bit less than going to the grocery store and just purchasing what you think you need at that time. Clothing, you can go shopping when you find sales. Entertainment, you can find different activities through community resources that may be free. And then savings, we always want to save as much as we can, but if we're struggling, we know that we can, lessen that amount until we can get stable again. So a lot of different things that you can do, and this is just a small example of what you do when you create a budget, is you have your income and your expenses and you see how they work together.
Crystal, are these counting your gross or your net income?
So that's a really great question. Thank you. So when we do our budget, we are going to consider our net income. And that's the money that you bring home on your paycheck. So when it comes to gross income, that's usually used if you're applying for credit or a loan. They're going to look at your overall income and what you make. But for a budget, we're going to go just with what your net income is. Any other questions?
That was it.
Thank you. All right, so now we're going to talk about spending responsibly. So think before you buy. It's so important because a lot of us can do impulse shopping. So one of the biggest thing I say are walk away from a large purchase and just assess how much you really need it. Do I need this right now or do I want it? And I know that can be hard to do, but we have to train ourselves into realizing what our needs are versus our wants. And walking away and just assessing it and making sure that this is something that we need right now is really important and can save you a lot of money. Research your product to make sure that you're getting something that you need. A lot of times we can go out and purchase something, and nowadays they have all these different gadgets and contraptions that come with these products. And most of the time we don't even need them. I mean, one example is my cell phone. There's a lot of features on my cell phone that I don't use, that I don't even know how to use. And so could I purchase something that's cheaper, that still has, a good working, pattern, but it doesn't have all those extras that I don't even use. So that would be the same thing with any product. Is the product most suited for your needs? Like I said, is this what I need for myself, or is it something that is popular out in the community? I need to make sure that this is the best thing for me. Is it the best priced? Compare, compare, compare. You can always find out when things are going on sale. A lot of stores, you can actually talk to them and they'll tell you when they're going to have sales coming up. And shop around, because you may find one product at one store and at a different store it's cheaper. So always look around. Don't just go find something and purchase it right away. You will save yourself so much money. And is there any way to save on the purchase or go without making the purchase altogether? Just ask yourself that question. Do I need it now, where I'm going to give up a big chunk of money that I didn't really expect to? Or should that be one of my goals, where I can put money away and save for it, and then make sure that this is a product that is right for me? So always think before you buy. Post your goal as a reminder on your wallet, car, as a note or a photo. Create a vision board. Let me tell you about vision boards. They are wonderful, and they're actually fun to do. I got together with a group of friends where we sat down and we did vision boards. And my vision board, I will put up on my wall so that every morning when I wake up, I see what my goals are. And I can pick one of those and do one little thing in my day to get a step closer to that. It's a wonderful way to motivate yourself. You get up and you're motivating yourself because you created this, and you can adjust it, you can change it, and you can add to it. You can mark off when you achieve that goal. You can even reward yourself. So it's a really great thing to do, and it helps you in reaching some of your goals. As I stated before, don't shop out of boredom. That's where we can end up wasting a lot of money. Unsubscribe to email ads. So a lot of times when we purchase something, they ask for your email if you're doing, even if you're in person, but mostly online. And then you start getting email ads with all these deals, and it tempts us. It makes us want to go out and make these purchases that we probably don't need. So really important that you unsubscribe to those and just look for deals when you are ready to shop. Take credit cards out of your wallet or purse. So a lot of people like to get out and walk around, window shop. I used to do that. Leave your cards at home. If you're going to support a friend who's making a purchase, but you're not purchasing anything, don't take your credit cards with you so that you're not tempted to purchase something. Another thing too, Kohl's, and I shouldn't name drop, but Kohl's is one of the places where you can go and you can make purchases and you earn cash that you can spend. And they limit the time that you can spend this money. That traps us. It puts us in a position where we want to go out and, hey, I need to spend this or I'm wasting money. So then you go out and you make purchases that you don't necessarily need. So in those cases, give it to somebody who may need it. Give those away. That's cash that anybody can use. But those are the things that we want to kind of stay away from because they tempt us and they make us spend money that we don't need to spend. And like I said before, only purchase what you need to buy. So make a list. Now, even when I go grocery shopping, I make a list of things that we need. Then we go to the store and we just purchase that so that we're not impulse buying. So just a couple different ideas of what you can do. Using credit cards. Did you know that if something states that it's on sale, but you use your credit card, you're actually not getting that sale price unless you pay off that card immediately. So credit cards are really made to help boost up your credit score and give you that credit history that you need, right? Well, that's only if you use it when you have the cash to actually spend on the product. So you would go to the store, you would purchase a product on your credit card, you would go home and you would pay the product off completely. That's a way to build your credit. But most people use that credit card when they don't have all of the money to purchase the product, and then they end up making payments instead of paying off the card balance. That means we're not actually getting the sale deal that we thought we were. So just know that yes, credit cards could be good, but you're not actually getting the deal that you wanted if you're not using it as it should be used. So just a little thing to know. So cutting back on spending, which I know can be hard. Here are a few ways. Like I said before, cancel those email deals and sale alerts. Just look for the sales and the deals when you're ready to shop. If you plan ahead, knowing what you want to purchase, then you can start looking for those deals or sign up for the emails at that time. If you're setting your goals, then you can find out when those deals are coming in. Wait it out. Like I said, don't impulse buy. Make sure it's something that you need to purchase. Buy store brands. So a lot of times stores offer their own brands. And I'm not going to lie, years ago, I used to be really picky and I only wanted the main brands. Well, I started making adjustments in my life and I found that these store brands are just as good, if not sometimes better. And it's good to try things out and get those store brands, and you save so much money, and it really helps when you're trying to save. Look for things that are free. Like I stated before, if you want to save on something like entertainment, there are so many things that you can do in your communities, and you can find free events where you can enjoy with your family or loved ones where you're not spending so much money. Or be creative and find free things that you can do at home and bring the entertainment into your house. And then paying bills online, making sure everything's paid on time. And it helps you track the money that you're spending. So just a few ways that you can cut spending. Meal planning too, I do want to say that. Meal planning is huge, not just to eat healthy, but actually to know what products you need. And just go purchase those. I used to go grocery shopping and just buy everything and get home, and I'd be like, I still have nothing to make for dinner. All I bought was all the side stuff, and we were still struggling. So meal planning is a good way to help cut on that spending. Saving, this is my favorite part. Why save? Well, you can earn interest. It helps with emergencies and unexpected life events. It helps you reach your short-term goals and even large purchases, and it helps you plan for your future. I have had so many people come to me and say, I can't save. My budget is so tight and there's just no room for it. Well, if you do what we talked about earlier and you start tracking some of those expenses, saving doesn't have to start at $50 or $100 a month. You can start with $5 a month. You can start with $5 that you set aside and you put into a savings account, and then it becomes habit, just like our bills, right? You have to make it one of your monthly expenses. And little do you know that all of a sudden $5 is nothing. I'm going to do $10, and you add to it and you make adjustments. Oh, maybe instead of spending $50, this week on eating out, I'm going to spend $40. So now there's my $10 into savings. There's so many little ways. People don't, when they don't track, you don't realize how many times you may go purchase a cup of coffee and what that adds up to, or the little snacks that we buy when we go pump gas and we go inside and pay and we just grab something small. So those little things we don't always think about, but if we start paying attention, those are the things we can scale back on and use that to add towards our savings. So it's really great too. It helps plan for your future, because being uncertain, I mean, especially with the times that we're having right now, we want money in the bank because we don't know what can happen tomorrow. So we want to make sure that we have something in place to keep us stable, so that if something happens, we have time to figure out what we need to do, but we can breathe while we're doing it because we have that savings set aside. So some different options for saving: a basic savings account, money markets for higher interest rates, CDs, which lock in funds for the future, IRAs, and investment accounts. It's really important that you look at all the different options. There is no right one for a group of people. It's individualized. So it depends on what you're looking to do, where you are financially, and where you want to be in the future. And these are just some ideas on the different things that you can do. This is something that we could work on together one-on-one to see where you're at and where you would like to be in your future. So in review, taking steps to save. Set a goal. Make sure you set a goal. If we never set our goals in our timelines, we're never going to reach those goals. So it's really important. Cut back on expenses. Make small adjustments that can end up giving you really large goals that you want to reach. And save using direct deposit. If you use direct deposit, it becomes second nature. You don't even see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. So it goes straight from your paycheck into the bank account. And then you don't have to worry about it. You just check on that account every once in a while and it keeps building. And by the time you know it, you're where you want to be. So here at La Casa de Esperanza, we offer financial counseling and coaching. We can work on things like budgeting, credit repair, savings, working on reducing debts, issues with identity theft, garnishments, and much more. And we work with you individually. If we can't help you specifically here, we will help find who can help you with that. We also offer employment coaching, which includes interviewing coaching and resume development. It's a really great program. So if you or anyone you know is looking for employment or how to increase your employability, this is a place to come. New this year for our VITA tax program, I'm so excited to say that we have 5 service delivery methods. If you've come to do your taxes with us in the past, at our 202 East Broadway location here in Waukesha, we have in-person tax appointments, in-person drop-off appointments, where you would have to schedule 2 appointments to complete, but you could just come drop off your information, give us a little bit of information, and then come back to sign and close. We have our drive-through here at our 134 Wisconsin Avenue location, where you can have an appointment to pull up in our drive-through and complete your whole tax appointment from your car. We also have here at our 134 location a drop-off appointment where you would schedule 2 appointments. You would come drop off your paperwork, fill out a little bit of papers, and you would come back for a second appointment to complete the signing and transmitting of your taxes. And then lastly, we have a virtual tax appointment option where you would work with some tax preparers through the computer. They would give you a call, get your information, and do all of your stuff virtually and have your taxes prepared and done from the comfort of your own home. So a lot of really great options. And you also have the option to schedule your own appointments this year. You can go to LACASA's website and go onto the VITA tax program and schedule your tax appointment. So I'm really excited to have shared that information with you. We also do monthly virtual homebuyer education classes, which are really great for those of you who are looking to purchase a home. It doesn't have to be right now. You could be looking to purchase in the next year or 2. This is to get you in motion, to give you all the steps that you need to take to help connect you with down payment assistant programs and all of the team that will work with you throughout your home ownership process. That includes realtors, lenders, home inspectors, insurance agents, and us here at LACASA. So I'm really excited that we have this available. You can also go to our site to find out information about that. This is my information. If you need more assistance or you would like to work with me individually, here is my contact information. It's also in the presentation that we provided to you. Please give me a call or send me an email, and I would love to work with you on your budgeting. I have a poll question that I'd like to present to you. Do you feel, after our presentation today, more confident about creating and managing a monthly budget? You would answer very much, somewhat, or not at all. And please be honest, because these poll questions really help us assess if the information we're providing to you is beneficial or if I need to tweak it a little bit. So please, just answer these, and I would love to get some feedback. So if we can just give another second.
50% say very much and 50% said somewhat.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then we also have another poll question. Do you plan to use any of the resources provided to you today? And that's just a yes or no. So if you can just answer that. Just remember that these resources are available to you at any time, so save the information. If you or anyone you know is interested in working with us individually or attending one of these webinars, please let us know. If we could just get those results.
100% said yes, they do plan to use the resources provided today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening and being here with us. I was so excited to share all this information with you, and there's so much more that you can learn in going over your budget. So thank you so much, and I will turn it over to Joanne. or I'm sorry, Jane.
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal, for sharing your expertise and your ideas. I know I also want to thank CIBM Bank for your wonderful sponsorship and helping us to create this event. Curious, I know I have a couple more pieces of information that I want to share with all of you. There's a wonderful online toolkit and resource library listed on the United Way website. And so there are additional tools around financial management. And in fact, Crystal kind of late last year led a discussion around credit. And so we've got some information related to Crystal's presentation last fall and some additional resources. We also have resources around job readiness, wellness, and so please utilize this particular resource. We'll continue to update it. We've got the actual website address there, and we'll continue to update and make this really valuable for our community. I also wanted to share, because my role is to engage volunteers in our community through the gift of time and talent. On the United Way website, we also have a wonderful community portal with all of our volunteer opportunities posted, along with the volunteer opportunities posted by several nonprofits in our region. So if you ever you're looking to volunteer, please remember this site. But also feel free just to reach out to the United Way team. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm always excited to share the different volunteer opportunities and get people connected to the issues that they really care about and do good in the community. So one last thank you, CIBM Bank. Thank you, La Casa de Esperanza. United Way values our relationship with you. And also we thank all of our seminar attendees. Thank you for your time and coming to learn. So thrilled that 100% of you indicated that you have discovered some resources that are going to help you. So that's just a really wonderful outcome. Wishing you well, wishing you good health, and thank you again. Good night.